Money, money, money. Money, that's all I ever hear in this house.
2026 Major League Baseball season. Grisham's a strikeout victim to start the night. The next 3-2. So the Yankees went out and grabbed Caballero, who played a lot in the postseason for them. And there's a shot into left field. Ramos goes to get it. Stanton on his way around to score. Throw goes into 0-2 from Webb. Bouncer heading up the middle, and that's going to get through and drive in a couple of runs. 3-0 New York. Chisholm bounces it to first. Smith to second for one, and the gets away at first base. And then giant misplay leads to a second run this inning. Supposed to strike him back, Chapman shot for Jack. And he makes the catch out on the wrong line, and he's telling Jose Caballero, did you see that? Say hello to my neighbor. You ever see the guy get hit up on the line? Casey Schmidt with 2 gone and a runner at third in a 7-0 deficit. And on the first pitch, a high drive for Aaron Judge that will put a close to business on opening night. A statement win for the...
Welcome, everybody, to the Hum Daddies. Special guest, Zach, filling in for Jake Lucas, who has the night off. He's doing some fatherly duties, or he just needed a break, because the guy is, as I mentioned, he's the Cal Ripken Jr. of the Hum Daddies. He is in every show all the time. You cannot stop his ability to be present, but the Iron Horse needed a day off. So Zach's filling in. Great guy to bring it forward. Highlights here from opening day. San Francisco Giants get roughed up by the Yankees. It was a real icky game, which you could sum up with Adames striking out in the first inning, letting off Max Fried, and ultimately the Yankees capitalized on the top of the second and rode an easy win. And the Giants are, 0-1 in a 162 game campaign. But hey, 162 games. Let's go, Giants. Baseball's arrived. It's spring. It's sprung. Joe, Zach, good to have you on here on a Thursday night.
What are we going to call this? The Heat Daddies? The Hum Heaters?
Well, we might get careful with the Hummer thing. And careful with the Heat, really. No, look, man, we're all one big family for all the people that came out when we were at Kingfish or whatever, you know what I mean? It's all the same umbrella. And then, I think we should do more cross-pollination in terms of who comes on whenever they come on. But I'm happy to fill in for Jake. I hope he sees the irony that he was giving you guys crap for going on ski trips or whatever, but then now he's the one missing. But yeah, when someone sits out, anybody should step in. That should just be true for all our stuff. So I'm happy to be a part of it and happy to get into whatever you guys want to get into. Yes, disappointing thing from last night, but what's funny about that game is that nobody really talked about the game. Everybody just talked about the Netflix broadcast. So Dave or Joe, however you guys want to jump in, I got a ton of thoughts on a ton of stuff, but you guys go ahead.
So I missed the game last night, Dave. How was the Netflix presentation? I mean, I saw a couple things with the advertisements, and the coloring looked pretty off. I mean, in general, it's kind of interesting that Netflix is presenting baseball now. It's like MLB has arrived, in my opinion, a little bit, but I didn't see the actual game. How'd it go?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Netflix puts their stamp of approval on their baseball version, right? Like, this isn't a classic baseball game in terms of the way it's presented. It was much more flamboyant. It was much more, let's, feel like we're in the game. There were moments with, what was the name of the guy who was on with Barry before? Was it Jameis Winston? No.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, who's a football guy.
Yeah. So he's sitting down in the
he did, but hang on. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
He was a very good college baseball player. So it's not totally off the cuff, but it's ridiculous to have a guy that's never played in the MLB and is in the NFL currently doing part of your baseball coverage. But anyways, go ahead.
What-
I just want to
but
clarify.
Zach-
He was a good college baseball player. I want to make sure that's clear.
That wasn't even my issue. It was more the way he was presented in terms of the guy sits down with two I think wrestlers that are like tough guys sitting in first deck behind the Giants dugout, Giants fans, and it's kind of this weird ploy to let's have the fan experience. The opener to me was the weirdest part. I mean, listen, you have the Giants and the Yankees coming out on opening day. You have a hype guy who's yelling at the fans, getting them all excited. I can't hear you, like you're at some stupid corporate conference. And then the Giants or the Yankees come out with two taxi cabs on either side and this weird like, let's represent New York. And then the Giants with the cable cars and it coming through the cable car. It was really like pretty phony to me. The authenticity of baseball was a little lost. But then again, like new fans trying to bring in the appeal of baseball having something more than just the old school classic. I get it. They're trying to appeal to a new fan. But I'm not that guy. And so I just kind of, waited till I watched baseball and I got some of that. But it felt very often that they wanted to talk about fandom and be the new age fan. They were trying to do an identity thing. I didn't get it.
So Joe, you didn't see any of this?
I mean, I just saw highlights and all the chatter about it.
But you didn't watch the broadcast?
I didn't watch the game. No.
Okay,
I was too depressed that the A's don't play in Oakland anymore. So I honestly, I'm like blacked out sad about it.
But you're a baseball guy, and this was a standalone.
Yeah, no, I'll get there. I'll get there. It's just gonna take me a few days. Hope spring's eternal for most people, but spring is really freaking depressing for somebody who grew up with your baseball starting, your favorite team's coming, and now it's just black, all black.
Okay. First of all, we're going to get to that later. You're not going to get my goat that easy. All right. For Dave G, opening day was yesterday. As a baseball fan, I'm not a huge Giants fan. I watched every moment of it. I got an opinion on all of it. I got an opinion of the stuff on the field, which again, wasn't the conversation. Now, Dave, you mentioned a bunch of stuff. I'm actually a fan of Jameis Winston because I like his energy. And
he has good energy.
Yeah,
good style. I agree, 100%.
He's a positive dude. And somebody pointed out, because they made a joke, I don't know if you remember, but when he was at Florida State, he got popped for stealing crab legs. And so the lady doing the broadcast was like, did you pay for those crab legs? So they made a joke about that. And then I saw somebody comment, of course, and they were like, well, you didn't make a joke about the sexual harassment case that you also had. But in general, and I'm not exonerating if he did do that or anything.
No.
I think Winston is good for any broadcast, baseball, football, hockey, or whatever. I like his energy.
Famous Jameis is a gem. I mean, that guy is. You can't take your eyes away from the screen. It's must-see TV. So I mean, it's kind of smart for Netflix or whatever to get that guy involved early. Do the Draymond thing, get him going while he's still a player. Whatever, I don't care.
For sure,
you got to have a good personality. Always.
Yeah. Just to go back, Joe, since you didn't watch it, Dave gave his recap. I'm gonna give a quick recap, and then you can react to our recaps. I will say this, Dave G. My main point on the broadcast is, did they miss the mark from a baseball standpoint? 100%. But I don't think they were trying to hit that mark. Now I'm going to point out some flaws that are going to really make either you or Joe mad or whatever, the baseball person that's out there listening that really loves baseball. They missed the first ever review for a call, whatever the thing is called, VAB or VRB or whatever. They were interviewing.
Will never be another first. That was it.
That catcher that did it, they took his helmet and they're taking it to the Hall of Fame, and Netflix didn't even air it. So that's numero uno, okay? But
they commented, Zach. They commented that I wonder if it's going to be within the first 20 minutes of our, the broadcast here that somebody, taps the helmet and they missed it.
And the ump got it right? The ump got it right?
Yeah, it wasn't overturned. Which, by the way, I've told this
This is
story,
great.
I believe, on Heat Check, and I don't believe with you, but I was doing sports radio in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I went to a AAA game. They have by the way, if you're ever in Salt Lake City, Utah, for whatever reason, they have a great AAA team. That was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Anyways, they were trying out VAR or VRB or whatever the hell it is, and the poor lady umpire, she got, because if you get 2 wrong, you don't get to do it again. She got like 14 wrong in a row. Every one that they challenged was overturned. And they showed you right on the screen. They had like a big screen and it would show where the pitch was. And she was wrong like 14 times in a row. Anyways, the point is, this is the first time in Major League Baseball history, and they were interviewing a manager and didn't even air it. So, like, I mean, that's flag number 1. But here's the thing, Dave, and this is what I'll just push back, and then I want to get Joe's opinion. Because, Joe, you're not going to be able to consume all of it. You could probably read an article that talks about all the flubs. But ultimately, Dave, this was not for me and you. Like, when the A's open up in Toronto tomorrow, and I'm going to go crazy, and I'm going to call out my buddy that I've known the longest since high school, Joey Starkey, about why he's wearing an A's hat when he says he's a Cubs fan now. Anyways, it wasn't for you and I, Dave. That was for, I really don't know what, I mean, I guess it was for people that have never been exposed to baseball and trying to get them into it. But yeah, there was wrestling. They were promoting their shows. It wasn't for guys like you and I.
100%. Yeah, it was a commercial. It was a 3.5-hour commercial.
I mean, they did some baseball stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of the baseball. I mean, like, here, listen, did you guys remember Fox Sports Sunday? Or Fox Baseball on Sunday?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Every time I watched Fox Sunday Baseball, you had your, I don't remember the 2 guys that were typically on it. Maybe it was Tim McCarver at times, but like, it was a
Joe
very
Buck.
like,
Joe Buck and Joe Buck
but
and
like
McCarver.
they called a very kind of bland game, like in terms of like they didn't add a lot of extracurricular dynamics that you get out of your Giants announcers, A's announcers, where you get into the weeds and details of the teams because they just don't have that type of
Ken Korak, Kuiper,
they don't have that level of specificity, which is what, as a baseball watcher lover, you look forward to that in every game you watch. You want that type of broadcast. This broadcast wasn't even close to that Sunday baseball version. It was so far left in whatever direction of it, because it was so commercially driven, because it was about Netflix making its debut more than baseball making its debut. And that's fine. I'm not mad at it. I'm just calling out what it is. It was the long commercial for Netflix to say, we're here too. We can broadcast sports, not just boxing matches on a random Sunday night where you could watch a 50-year-old get beaten the shit out of by a 25-year-old. We do baseball. So it's just the new world of media and sports and Amazon, all these. It's a weird universe we live in. It's atypical, but
so
I'm not mad at it.
It was not like sports oriented at all. They didn't have any like new takes on how to do new stats and it wasn't new sports. It was just like, hey, we're Netflix and over here's a baseball game. They were
looking for social media opportunities for someone to capture a video and post it. Like it was very.
Here's the thing, Joe. Okay, I'd give them, like, in terms of performance and what they were trying to do, which I think was just to entertain. And again, they're not gonna be airing 162 games. They're gonna air 1 game. I think they might have some other stuff like the All-Star game or something later or whatever. But this was a big production. It was 1 big commercial for Netflix. Like, they had actors from shows or movies or comedians that have stand-ups on Netflix, and they showed them. So, like, yes, it was not for the baseball guy, but that honestly, that was okay to me. I mean,
they had CC Sabathia and Hunter Pence. I like listening to both of those guys.
They had Barry
Bonds.
Bonds.
Yeah, of course, they had Bonds in the
Well, I think this is what we can get into a little bit later here. I thought we were going to get into later, but we can get into it right now. I think MLB is kind of going in the right direction by being a little bit more mainstream. By getting all the old grandpas to talk about, hitting with the 1 out, less than 2 outs, running on third, trying to like go the other way. And, that's nice and all, but like, we're trying to get people to be entertained and get my kid to watch the game, get him involved, get my wife involved, get more people, get more eyeballs out here.
Yeah.
If you can kind of just like, you go to the Giants game, they do a great job of having just like it's a great event The ladies love it. The coworkers love it. It's just a fun time to be there. If you can make the game a little bit more like that, you can bring some more people into the game that I love. I'm all for it because I think baseball has been struggling for a little bit, but I'm sort of seeing over these last couple of years since the pitch clock came in that it's trending up. And I think, whatever, Netflix, if MLB can take advantage of some more eyeballs, more power to them.
Yeah, I agree with that, Joe, 100%.
No, but I mean, I think you just gotta, okay. A phrase that my grandma used to say was take it with a grain of salt, right? I'm sure she didn't make it up. It's probably been since
Heard
from
it
the
many times.
Huh?
Heard it many times.
Yeah,
myself.
exactly. But I
Right.
just know it from her. And I think
Yeah.
in this instance, you got to take that broadcast with a grain of salt. Like that was Netflix trying to obviously promote all the stuff because I'm sure they paid a boatload of money. And to Joe's point, yeah, baseball needed to get up on shit. Now, I'm with also David, though, in saying that, like, if you view that as a baseball fan, it was not a great baseball viewing experience. It was a good, entertaining viewing experience, not baseball-wise, though.
None of that is true because the Giants lost 7-0. Zach.
No, but I mean,
but I hear you. I hear you. You're
yeah,
right.
I mean, and here's the thing,
I know what you
though.
mean. I'm just.
I know, but here's the thing, though. Isn't that why Netflix won? Because we're talking about their whole entire broadcast. We're not talking about the 7-0 game, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. Yeah,
let's do that. Let's
Well,
get into that.
the other thing I got to say though is one of the things that baseball's missing here is you get lost in a shuffle. 162 games times 30 teams, and it's just another game. People kind of, this was an event. They didn't do all games at one time. They did one game, New York versus San Francisco at beautiful Pac Bell, and everybody tuned in, right? Like that's the kind of thing that the NFL just mastered. And I think that's a good direction for the MLB to go, where it's like, I missed it. I feel like I missed out. Zach said, of course I watched it. I'm like, oh, I missed the baseball game. Like, I don't usually have that feeling of like, and FOMO, the FOMO feeling of baseball ever.
Joe,
it just got it. So I think that's a success
point
right there.
Sunday night baseball has been a thing for a long time. Take the two best teams from that week that have a showdown on a Sunday and put it to 5 p.m. because that is like the prime time during summer to have a sit down, hang out with your family and watch, whoever that best matchup is. And I think MLB needs to expand that Sunday doesn't need to be the only day that we find time. Now, granted, that was it was a Wednesday or whatever, but find some weeknights and have the Netflixes and Amazons or whomever do a production and make it exciting and find two great teams and just make people watch baseball. Who cares how you bring them to it in the end? It's about getting them to sit down and be, get the stupidity of production and commercials, but then all of a sudden say, holy shit, this could actually be a good baseball game. Unfortunately, Netflix got dealt a bad hand in that if they had a good baseball game, it would have been a way better production, but it wasn't. It was a blowout. The game was gone after the second inning.
I wouldn't call it a blow. I wouldn't call it a blowout.
7-0 with Giants getting 3 hit.
It was what, 5-0 in the second. Yeah.
It wasn't close, but whatever. All I'm saying is a better baseball game is going to attract the fan. Not the production. The production gets them into the seat. It's the great baseball game that makes them a fan of baseball. Just like, the Tuesday night TNT games that you'd get for NBA. You get a great basketball game, you all of a sudden might have a new fan who's like, fuck, I love basketball. This is great. Let's do it. NFL has it easy because every football game seemingly is great these days when it matters.
Yeah, but they're
masters.
But on all of those examples, they're promoting, like, even when you're watching a CBS game, they're saying what's coming up on 60 Minutes. So the promotion stuff is everywhere. You're paying a high premium to be able to show live sports, which is pretty much the only thing that you can really, really monetize now, because it's the only thing that people are not just taping and then watching later. So
100%.
like I wasn't offended by the over promotion. I knew it was going to be kind of a gimmick. And I also knew this, Dave, like if you told me every game was going to be like this, I would have a much bigger issue. The fact that it was opening day and it was just one game out of the year, then yeah, you just, it's like, I don't like wrestling, But maybe if Joey Starkey hit me up and said, hey, I got like front row seats to the WWE Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? Maybe I would go and just have fun. Now, could I do that
You
every
probably
day
would
with
have fun.
Joe? Not at all.
No.
So I'm just saying, like I think people are overreacting to the way that it was done. It's their first time doing it, and ultimately they wanted to do a spectacle, and they did. I'm going to get into something else, but I want Joe to chime in because Joe, I feel like you and I, Dave, have told Joe what it was like, so now he can react to what we've told him. But I've got another huge reaction that I think was a huge overstep. But anyways, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was kind of following along on my phone a little bit, and I saw Yankees pouring it on 7-0. Aaron Judge 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. I think he went 0 for 5 with 4 Ks.
0 for 5 with the
I mean, that's the one thing that Netflix or MLB probably wanted, is to showcase their big star, and the Yankees won big, but he did nothing, so that's kind of a miss.
I don't think they cared.
It was also
about
a
that.
game of a it was a game of a lot
they
of
want to see their big
singles.
star go crazy. Yeah, it's all about the players.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Yankees fans were okay. I think the two biggest winners out of the thing was, number one, just that park that me and Joe. I'm going to yell at Joe and ask him why he's wearing an A's hat because I feel like it's just to troll me.
Do it.
But that big, beautiful park that we wanted on the other side of the bridge for all the
Zach,
Giants.
I wanted it too. Don't.
It would have been great.
Not every Giants fan can say that, but as
We
a
coulda-
Bay Area guy,
It would have been great. It would have been so
the
beautiful.
best.
But I think that was winner number one. San Francisco, and it used to be AT&T, now it's Oracle Park, even though Oracle used to be the Warriors Stadium, but now they're at Chase because they moved to the city. Anyways,
I still go Pac Bell. Pac Bell's what was first call. That's what I'm sticking with.
Pac Bell, AT&T, now Oracle. Okay, I'm down with that. I can go all the way to Pac Bell. That was the first one.
MCI Stadium.
You're more of an SBC guy, yeah.
That was the number one winner. Was just our Bay Area that all of us are all local and very loyal to. We love the Bay Area, but just that beautiful ballpark that will that ballpark is going to go down with like Wrigley and Fenway and old Yankee Stadium, even though they have a Yankee Stadium. That ballpark, everybody that walks away from there goes like this. Mwah, French kiss. So anyways, that was winner number one because it was a glorious day. It was 5 o'clock here, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. They were probably all sitting there still dealing with the little bit of the end of winter as we go into spring, and was probably like, wow, why do I not live in the Bay Area? So that was winner number one. Number two was just Yankees fans. They won a game, which every Yankees fans will tell you, we need Aaron Judge, and all we do is hit home runs. They manufactured the dog piss out of that game. That was all. There was no home runs from the Yankees. They didn't hit one. And Aaron Judge, as Joe said, went 0 for 5 with the golden sombrero. So those were the two winners walking out of it. I'll get into the big controversy here in a second, but you guys keep going.
Bring on the controversy.
Okay, controversy.
Controversy it up. Yeah.
Did you see the mother bleeping, as I am now? Joe Starkey has said, do not use the F-bomb. So now I'm doing the bleep, or I'll do the F, but I will never say the actual words so that we don't get marked and banned from whatever we're trying to do. Did you see the mother bleeping interview with the commissioner?
No.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, I know Joe didn't. I was talking to Dave. Joe missed the whole damn thing, which, by the way, Joe, if you just like baseball, I don't care if you're a Cubs fan or an A's fan. We'll talk about your hat in a second. If you just like baseball, that's a flag on you, 15-yard variety for missing that game.
No, I'm telling you, this is like the first time I feel like FOMO, missed a baseball game on TV, like maybe ever.
It's the biggest team on the East Coast and one of the biggest teams on the West Coast, and you missed the game?
I mean, a regular season baseball game is not something people really, usually thrive on missing.
Okay, Dave, you missed the interview with the commissioner?
I did miss the interview.
Okay, I'm not going to give you a 15-yarder. I'm going to give you a 10.
That's fine.
Because you watched the game. It's your squad. It was opening night. I'll give you a 10. Holding, 10-yard penalty. not like unnecessary roughness. You're good.
No,
10
no
back.
personal foul.
Anyways,
okay, give me the 10.
Okay, now, you know what? This is actually fun because neither of you saw it. So now I can play with this. You don't know what the hell I'm going to bring up. So Starkey and Dave, we'll start with you, Starkey. If I would, let's just say I was on the call, because I think I could do as good a job as, what was that guy's name? Ferguson or Ferguson, or no offense, by the way, if he ever sees this. I don't mean any. No. I'm not dissing
I'm
at all.
immediately pulling this out as a short and sending it out.
No. Because he's good. I actually like him. It's like Ferguson or Verishan.
I mean,
Starts with a V. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's say that I was that guy and the commissioner was coming on. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Joe. What do you think my first question to the MLB commissioner would be?
Well, you're asking the question, the MLB commissioner. You're asking.
I'm asking what you think I would ask.
Well, I think you'd be a professional. You probably wouldn't ask what I'd want you to ask. And what I want you to ask is,
then you don't know me.
Well, why would you let a team leave Oakland? Why would you let the Oakland A's?
Oh, no, you're going too deep. And you get an F. Dave?
That's what I'd ask.
Why?
I love your
Why
passion,
are the
Joe.
Yankees and the Giants playing the first opening day game and not the Reds?
God. Okay. Are you okay? Fast forward to your second and third. Are you not going to even hit what I think is the most low-hanging fruit you could possibly see?
I know.
Why is Netflix broadcasting the first baseball game of the season?
Okay. And again, Joe, you got one more
wrong.
guess.
I have no idea.
This is the lockout.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the lockout.
You're right.
That's
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to say about the lockout, though? It's going to happen.
That also feels like almost
It's fine.
worse.
It just proves
Yeah.
that you don't know me. That is the first question that you ask. You guys are at an absolute impasse.
What is your lockout question?
Where
Yeah, how
are
do
we
you frame it?
looking, and how imminent is it that people are saying that there's going to be no baseball this time next year?
Fact.
Boom,
No-
bam,
no-
bingo.
No baseball next year.
Got
Not
it.
happening.
Okay. Well, then, yeah.
Bold.
Then I'd sit there and tell him to
for a
explain
live
why.
broadcast, I hope you fed him that question before you asked him.
No.
Yeah.
Man, I had great relationships with all the A's players, all the Raiders players, and all the Warriors players that I covered. Harrison Barnes. I swear to God, if you ever see Harrison Barnes and you say, how is Zachariah from 95.7 the game? That guy will be like, I love that mother bleeper. You know why? You cannot have an interview with the commissioner when a lockout is impending and not ask him a question about it. They did a whole interview with him.
Hey,
and didn't
Harrison
the
Barnes is
questions
not
they
saying
were
mother bleeper. Harrison Barnes is like the nicest guy there's ever been.
He's the best.
That guy's never sworn in his life, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I'm saying, he'd say that mother trucker, whatever he would say, doesn't matter. Anyways, the point is you cannot have an interview with the commissioner and not ask him about an impending lockout.
Yeah, you're not asking that question. That is an illegal question, and it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the path we're on. And I'd love to see a salary cap, a salary floor. The players and the owners.
I think your ladder is more important than your former. I think the floor is more important than the ceiling.
I think they're both important.
Well, the ceiling is already kind of in there now with the Dodgers. They're just playing with monopoly money because they have like 7 owners that are all billionaires, so they can do whatever they want. But for the rest of the teams, like the Yankees, Steinbrenner's had to come out and confirm, and Cashman, the GM, has had to say, I can't go over this amount because once you go over that amount, like the aprons in the NBA, you have to pay taxes on that. So there is kind of already a ceiling, except for the Dodgers. So I don't know if the lockout's going to happen because of that, but I also know they don't want the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Sacramento, Las Vegas, Oakland A's collecting all that loot from the people that are paying those taxes and they're just stuffing it in their pockets instead of putting it towards the roster.
Well, yeah, to that point, I'm with you. I mean, it's more egregious the Pittsburgh Pirates of the world to stay away from John Fisher for a second, that they just pocket cash and put out a crap product all year long. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, here's where the MLB is going, and I want to hear your guys' input, but we've typically always had about, I'd say, 8 to 10 teams that are, up there in market share in terms of fans, in terms of everything. Like, it's been much more, to give a parallel, English Premier Soccer, right? You have enough of a variety at the top that are always kind of there. The in this case, it would be the Phillies, the Giants, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Cubs. I'm sure there's a few others in there that we can.
Yeah, you got it.
But
Blue Jays, Braves, yeah. I mean, there's basically
Here's where we're going. We're going towards La Liga, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Yankees, Dodgers, and nobody else you can really give a shit about or know about. It's becoming so, and this isn't a problem that's the Dodgers or Yankees' fault. The reality is those teams are so good at branding and taking advantage of the market. They're so much more advanced and have so much more history to like pull into it, that the reality is no one can compete with that. No one can just jumpstart their team without having a superstar. And even then, it's not this like the superstar like a LeBron James where you can pull the Cavs up to that top tier, or a Steph Curry and pull the dog shit Warriors all the way to the top to be the most, the most expensive franchise beyond the Knicks and the Lakers for the last half a decade.
I mean,
but here we are.
I'm looking at the winners of the World Series for like the last 15 years, Dave. If you look at the World Series winners like the last 10, 12 years, it's pretty, there's a variety. Rangers, Astros, Braves, Dodgers, Nationals, Red Sox, Cubs, Royals, Giants. I mean, there's a mix. It is. I can see where it's going. It seems like it's going in the Dodgers are going to win every year. Kind of felt like the Yankees in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were going to win every year.
But the distribution of money, the fact that there's no collective bargaining agreement or some way to say the Dodgers, you're capitalizing on baseball first and being the Dodgers, and so you have to pool some of your money that you make on your branding effort back into the collective benefit for everybody to say, listen, here's how I would solve baseball's problem. The baseball players should have more, like the NBA players, should have more of an opportunity to make money off of what the owners are pulling in because they're part of it. Bring them into the mix a lot more than just pay the players the money. They go there, and they they make their boatloads for the Dodgers and the Yankees, and they don't have any reason to play anywhere else. Make their money more about the fact that the league makes money and that they are a participant in the league. If they can do that and they can find a way to turn that paradigm around, I think the MLB has a better shot to get the dynamic that I think we all want, which is more parity of great players on teams, not just all the great players going to one team.
Yeah, I mean, we want what the NFL has, which is parity. And pretty soon, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani are going to get a little older. And the way they have it in MLB, you can't. You still get to lock up your young players for a number of years. So it's hard to win with just old guys all the time.
Honestly, I think there's parity everywhere except the Yankees and the Dodgers, and more so the Dodgers, obviously, than anybody else.
Yeah, the Yankees haven't won removed.
They haven't. That's the great thing about baseball. But it's the quality of the player and the player being the part that brands a team that you identify with, that you want to watch. That if you don't have them, you're like, I don't know who this guy is. And it's great that they're good, and that baseball you just win because you have a good day and it's different. But
I still think the way you win actually in baseball is by having a good farm team. It also definitely helps to have a fat stacks of cash to buy, the next free agent. But how the Astros do it. They had a ton of young talent for a while. The Dodgers, some years ago, 5 years ago, they had a ton of young talent. And they're able to keep processing. They'd make a trade and bring in the old guy. I think it takes a little bit of both. So I think there's a little bit of balance, but I could appreciate some more. I've been wanting, since the Moneyball days to get a little bit more balance in the league. And I think a floor would help, and I definitely think a ceiling would help too.
Zach, what do you think?
I think ultimately, I don't know if you guys remember. And I got one more thing on the broadcast, and we really haven't even talked about the actual game that the Giants lost. And I've got a pretty good comparison because basically that game could have swung either way. Like Max Fried was in big trouble and got out of it, and and then it flipped the other way. So, anyways, I would just say this: if you remember the report from last year, there was like a confrontation where Bryce Harper basically said to the commissioner, and I'm going to edit myself here to not swear, but Bryce Harper basically said to the commissioner, if you're talking about a mother bleeping salary cap, then get the bleep out of here. Cussed at him twice. It got weird, and the whole meeting got totally separated. There was a report on that. There wasn't like video. It didn't go viral or nothing like that. But basically, this is why I'm terrified, and it's hard for me to enjoy. Look, when the A's go to Toronto tomorrow, I'm going to be watching that game like it's the World Series because everybody can believe in the beginning of the year. I don't think the A's have the pitching to actually be decent. I think the Giants have much more optimism, but I think the A's offense is going to be crazy. Anyways, I'll be watching that game, but it's hard for me, Dave. And even yesterday, watching this Netflix broadcast, and when I watched the first game of the A's, which has nothing to do with any of that, it's hard for me to not in the back of my head. And Joe, we were like, and you, Dave, you were probably a little bit younger, but we were 11 years old when 94 happened. And that lockout happened. And the Montreal Expos, who had the greatest video game team of all time, should have won the World Series. That season got erased. And MLB lost a lot of people. And it's in the back of my head because of that Bryce Harper thing.
That city lost their franchise.
Salary cap.
Yeah.
No,
that city lost their franchise because of that lockout.
I mean, if you trace it back, I think
moved into Miami, if you remember.
I mean, I hope Manfred is looking at the history here because baseball was king back then, late 80s, early 90s even. And they handed it off to football. Football's always already popular, but now football's 40% of people's favorite.
Nobody was happier about. Nobody was happier about that lockout than the NFL.
That was just bad business. I mean, the owners, their greed stole money from themselves. In the long run, because baseball could have been a lot more popular.
They called baseball America's pastime. It used to be baseball was king in America.
You cannot say that. You cannot say that with a straight face anymore. You cannot.
Well, not now. No, I'm saying then.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. It was king for like 100 years, and then then we had the strike pretty much. I mean, maybe a little bit before that, but that just totally put baseball on the back burner. And they came back a little bit in '98, but then basketball kind of
steroid era when you had Bonds and Sosa and McGuire.
Yeah. But I hope they learn from history and don't make that mistake again because they lost a lot of money on that. So I think it'd be a fool's errand if they couldn't figure out a way to make 2027 happen.
Yeah, and Dave, I'll just say this before you go, Dave. Jeff Passan, who's like the main ESPN MLB guy, he thinks because of the momentum that they've been taking, and you kind of said to a point, Joe, like, mimic the NFL, do this Netflix shit, do your stuff on Peacock, do your Amazon Prime game, whatever, do all that stuff so that you can get a little bit higher and blah, 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 blah. And I would just say on that front, that's sort of the hope, right? Because I think the rule changes, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know if we talked about this on air, or if we talked about it off air or whatever. I'm very anti the Ghost Runner because it just kind of changes the game. But the pitch clock, I couldn't be more in for. And even though I could be a guy that could sit at a game for 4.5 hours and watch somebody grind out a 3-2 ball game, I know that most people don't like it. And
let me talk about this. I mean, it's these.
Joe's got opinions. Go.
Well, this thing came together at the same time. Me losing my favorite team and the pitch clock coming in at the same time. I've been praying for this pitch clock for the longest time. You go back into like the 80s, you would have games that would average like an hour and 45 minutes or something like this.
Really?
It got almost to like 3 hours. And it's
hang on, back up because I don't know this. In the 80s, you were saying average game times were.
They had if you look at the average game time, like back in the 70s and 80s, people were just getting 2 hours. These were done.
Was there a pitch clock?
No pitch clock. People just didn't sit in the box like Nomar Garciaparra or Mark Cannon.
Okay, I got you. All right.
And worse to the point,
there was unwritten rules
rubbing the ball and staring in, and it became like
I didn't know that. I learned
who has control of the moment, the pitcher or the hitter, and it's kind of like you'd watch these Sox Yankees games in the playoffs that take 5 hours. It's ridiculous. Anyway, The people that benefit the most are us guys that watch these baseball games religiously all the time. I would spend hours just wasting. Like, come on, the relief pitchers, they come in the 7th and 8th inning and they just sit there all day long. So I think the pitch clock has been a tremendous improvement for the casual and the hardcore fan. I mean,
Agreed.
I can't say otherwise.
Agreed.
The stupid stuff about the ghost runner, I agree with you.
Okay.
The
So
bigger
ghost
base,
runner-
whatever.
The ghost runner being like in extra innings, correct, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah, extra innings, they put a guy in second.
Here's the parallel. Do you agree or disagree with the way college football does overtime?
Man, you'd have to give me some time to prepare my answer for that because I like to be calculated with my answers. I like off the cuff. I've thought about that before, and I don't know that I'm usually very black and white and not a lot of gray. I like to have a definitive answer. I've thought about that before. Like I did like when Joe Burrow got screwed and didn't have a chance to have a possession. I did like that the NFL changed it so that you could so the other team gets a chance to score. I don't know that I like the college rule because you start the same thing with the ghost runner. You're starting a guy on second. I don't know that I like starting you in scoring range already. So I figured it out in live time. That's my answer.
Yeah, no, that's a great analogy, Dave, because you're kind of sabotage. It's not football anymore when you're just starting at 20. Like
you're saying
you're staging,
you have a chance to
the
score.
Game. Yeah.
You're saying you have a chance to score. Can you? Versus set up a score.
Exactly.
And then score. Which is baseball unto itself, but I think it does ring to the level of college football, which honestly college football is hilarious because they have that style, but at the same time, college football games are like 4.5 hours long at times.
Hell, well, that's money.
Stoppage time is so bonkers.
Dave, that's money. Our podcast would be longer if we had advertisements. That's money right there. I understand
the advertisements don't give a shit about baseball on a day-to-day like they do for the couple few.
No, but I think the analogy
is why. That's why.
Yeah, I think the analogy is perfect because putting a runner on second is the same as giving you the ball in the opponent's 35. You should start at your own 35 and have to get there and earn it. A guy that's at the plate should need to earn his way to second, whether it's hitting a double or taking a walk and stealing a base or getting a single and stealing a base. You need to earn your way to second. You can't just be put there. So, yeah, that's my answer.
All right.
I don't know how we got there. I don't even know where we were going before.
Right, Zach, let's talk about the Giants-Yankees game as a game unto itself before.
I got one more thing. How much time in are we?
Oh, we can go as long as we want, baby.
Yeah,
it's Thursday night on the Home Daddies. Let's go.
All right,
we're
only
3 hours.
We
got advertisements.
I got one more thing on the Netflix.
He's having a cool Chardonnay right there. Okay.
Now I'm a sparkling wine.
Sparkling wine. Okay.
Now here's the question. I know the answer for Joe is no, so I'm just going to ask you, Dave. Did you see how much of the Barry Bonds experience did you consume?
Honestly, that was the part that I missed out on, Zach. I was returning home.
You also missed out on the commissioner. All right. Anyways,
I asked Jake, Hum Daddy Jake, and he says to me he had a very high-pitched voice, which to me means he didn't say anything that was that interesting. So I haven't gone back to, listen in on Bonds, but I don't doubt he probably had some stuff to add. I mean, the guy knows this sport better than anybody.
One thing in particular, and I don't care how high-pitched his voice is, even as a non-Giants fan, that is the best baseball player I have ever watched in my entire life. Now, I didn't see Babe Ruth. I didn't see Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio or, whoever the hell else. Barry Bonds, like, if anybody, cheated or not, I don't care about that crap. That dude was so good at the actual skill of playing baseball. Better than anybody. Better than Canseco, McGuire, Ricky Henderson. I love Ricky Henderson. I love so many. That guy mastered the sport, like to the point where he was like almost too good. Anyways, he told a story. He told a story, and unfortunately, people pulled receipts on it. But he told a story that he almost signed with the Yankees, and that Steinbrenner called him and said, "I'm going to make you the highest paid player, but here's the kicker: you have to tell me by 2 p.m." Now, granted, Steinbrenner's in New York, Barry's in on the West Coast. So
Yeah.
he claimed
this was before he went. This is like a
93 from the Pirates.
Yep.
From the Pirates. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, you're right. So maybe he was in what's that time frame? Yeah.
Same.
So maybe it was the same. Yeah, whatever it was.
Western Penn.
And so he claimed on the podcast or on the broadcast last night through Netflix, he said that he hung up on Steinbrenner, called his agent, said, "Let me think about it." And then by the time he called back, something happened and it didn't work out. The problem is he told this story like 6 years ago during COVID, like in 2000 or 2020 or 2021. He told the same story and he left out the Steinbrenner part. So 90% of what he said was the same as what he said before. And I'm sure it's basically true. But that was one of the things that nobody like kind of went in on. Like basically what I think what we were dealing with last night. And again, it goes back to my point, Dave G. For you and I who love baseball, and Joe I thought loved baseball but didn't watch any of it. It was not for those. It was not for those people. It was for the people that maybe didn't know anything about baseball and wanted to tune in for the wrestler that was hyping up the crowd or whatever the other stuff that was like. It was for the antics, not for the baseball consumer. But now we can talk Giants Yanks.
Listen, I think we're going to share this opinion, Zach, because we kind of mentioned it in two different ways early. The Giants had a gift, which was you have Max Fried, who's one of the best pitchers in the MLB, maybe top 5, honestly, at this point over his career right now. Right now, maybe he's top 10, but at a point, he is one of the best pitchers. And you get a 4-pitch walk to start the game. You eventually have
seeing eye single,
seeing eye single, and you have the there's 1 out, 2 on, and Adames comes up, and here's where my opinion comes in for the season.
Don't be too.
No, just take him all the way, Dave.
Don't
hear me out.
Will.
Willy Adames is a very good MLB hitter in today's baseball. The guy hit 30 home runs last year, the first time that's happened since Barry Bonds did it. So don't get me wrong.
We're off to a good start.
The guy has potential, but here's the problem with Willy Adames.
Yes.
Willy Adames doesn't hit in the situation. He does the same thing no matter what. Whatever his approach is, it's always the same, which is he has an uppercut swing. I'm going to try and hit the ball deep to a gap. Hopefully I'm in a park where it gets out. He hit 230 last year. He is your 4-hitter. He's the RBI guy. And RBIs, according to Jeff Kent, RBIs is what makes you the big bucks, right?
Yep.
So if you're going to put Willy Adames in at the 4 spot and live there all season, there's going to be a lot of disappointing momentum swinging back the other direction games because he is consistently going to get out in bad situations or in situations where you want that momentum. He's going to have moments where he's going to show up and you're like, oh, Willie, he could do well, but that's a 230 hitter. So he's going to do it every once in a while. He's not going to do it consistently. And they need somebody in the 4 spot who's hitting 270 to 280 with 20 home runs who can get 100 RBIs. Willy Adames is a 6 hitter.
Who is that?
Who hits for power.
Who is this? Who's this guy?
We don't have them.
Yeah, you don't have
the thing. We don't have them.
The thing in today's baseball, which drives me crazy too, a bunch of old men out here talking. The batting average, 270, 280, that's like super high now.
That's like 325.
That's crazy. Nobody does that.
Nobody hits over 300 except for the best player on the game, which was a fucking golden sombrero.
No, you got a guy on your team right now that's going to hit 300.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do.
Nobody of the Giants is going to hit over 2. Well, Arraez may hit 285.
Arraez will hit over 300. And he's a joint.
I almost hit him clean up at this point. Like the Giants need players that can get that 1 run in. I don't need the 3-run homer every time. I need the consistent. We got the RBI single. I got positive momentum.
Yeah.
Next inning. Listen, if that AB, even if it's not a K, even if it's like he hit it hard to right center and the guy traced it, ran it down, that's a better AB than just a straight struck out swinging and left everyone like, oh no. And then the next inning, the Yankees come back and pelt you. And the next thing you know, you're down and you just feel like, we have nothing this game.
I
And
got
that's
my
how it
thoughts,
felt.
but Joe, I got my thoughts,
That's where
but
I'm
Joe,
at.
you go.
That's where I'm at.
Joe, you go.
No, you go first if you got something.
No, okay. A couple of things. One, you have to remember, this is not the NFL. If my Dolphins lose to the Patriots, 38-5, which they probably will, the opening
Every
week
other
of
year,
next year,
35 years.
well, you can freak out. It's one of 17. This is one of $1.62. And as we both alluded to, you had two pitchers that were in sticky situations. One turned into 0 earned runs. And the other one, well, he was actually bad a little bit later, so maybe you could be a little bit more concerned about that. But the bottom line is, that's the way baseball goes. It's a game of inches, right? And I hear what you're saying, but here's the biggest thing about Giants fans. And I don't mean this as any shade. So I want to make sure I'm very clear. If you cut up what I say anytime after this, I'll be upset. I'm clarifying the Giants earned all of those even-yeared titles. However, caveat. Y'all did not do that with Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. You did that with a bunch of guys that grinded their tail off, and you had a lot of fortune. Boy, if the A's could have gotten an ounce of that fortune during all the time that I watched
100%
Hudson,
agree.
Mulder, and Zito and Tejada and Giambi, and then even after that,
A's had way more talent than the Giants did out of all of those years, and never could put it together. I
appreciate that.
However,
you guys got 3 titles. We got none. What I'm saying is, what you guys had to pivot from, which is what I think Posey has done, and the Devers thing was a dreamboat because he had done some weird stuff about not wanting to change positions in Boston. But you got him, then you signed Willie. So, what you guys did in 10, 12, and 14, I don't think is very repeatable. And so what you're doing now is what most people are trying to do. And I think this is the first season where you're actually going to see all those guys that are part of the lineup. So, and I think that game could have went any way. You called it a blowout. The reason why I said it wasn't a blowout is that I just saw one inning where you guys had the bases loaded and got nothing out of it. Then I saw another inning where the bases were loaded and they got 5 out of it. So I think that you guys are up there with the big dogs. I don't know. You're obviously not the Dodgers, and maybe you're not even the Yankees, but you are separated from the rest of the teams in the league. Now I'm done.
Well, I think, in 2010, 12, 14, one of the things that the Giants did really well was they just put the ball in play and played good defense, had incredible, timely relief pitching. And I think that's kind of what
Madison Bumgarner should have 3 statues in front of the stadium.
Sure.
I would give him 3. Timmy
one
none,
will suffice.
None, Posey none. 3 for Madison Bumgarner. That guy came off of no days rest and pitched 5 innings in relief to win Game 7 in Kansas City. Sorry, Joe.
But
I can just mute my microphone, by the way. I can just yell to myself.
No. What makes, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Joe. What makes the Giant, and I always refer to those 3 World Series for the Giants as they were the dynasty dogs, right? They were always the underdog, but they somehow made it a dynasty, right? But here's why they did it.
Not a dynasty.
It wasn't right. Oh, not because they had more talent than anybody. Because they had a consistency built by Bruce Bochy, the coaching staff, great pitching that was very consistent. Even the inconsistency of Tim Lincecum was filled in by other guys who for sure outperformed, but it also was on one of the best bullpens. The period. And I think
best bullpen performance. Yeah. For sure.
And especially the postseason where Bruce Bochy, that's where he, the magic of the postseason in baseball. It's very much based upon luck, coaching, and who gets hot at the right time. And they had a lot of those benefits, but it still, when it came down to hitting, they never hit home runs with any.
That's what I'm trying to say before I was rudely interrupted.
This is why I'm sick of the Giants thinking the Willie Adames and we need these guys who are going to hit the 30 home runs. We don't need that in San Francisco. I know it's glamorous and it's beautiful. We wish we had Bonds back, but you didn't win on that. You won on the consistency element and great at bats. And the Giants right now have a lot of guys who don't have great at bats.
Well, the other thing
Give me more great at bats, and they're not players that are designed for great at bats. They have guys who are designed for statistical.
Yeah. It ain't Coors Field. It doesn't play that way. It plays with 3-2 baseball. So, if you get guys like Arise, which I think was an incredible pickup, and get guys that can play defense, put the ball in play, and they got a lot of money in Willie, and maybe that wasn't such a great idea, because I think that's kind of the wrong direction for how Buster won and how I think he wants to go. So I think the more they can do pitching and defense, that's also going to kind of like limit, say, a Dodgers series, if that's that's the goal, to pass up the Dodgers in the playoffs. And you're not going to do that out slugging them. So you're gonna squeeze by them on a couple 2-1 ball games. So I think where I see the future of the Giants, and maybe they don't have it this year. We'll see where the bullpen goes, but they need to get that bullpen into form over these next 2 to 3 years. And I think that's their golden ticket, if there is one.
They need to sign guys like Hunter Pence. They need to sign guys like Marco Scutaro.
Yeah. You remember 2014? Yeah.
They need
to
sign
think about
guys
that
that know how to be
2014
scrappy and find a way to get on base, whether it be by walk. But they need to also put the ball in play. They need to play baseball, move a guy over. They need to do all the little things that help you win baseball games. And they did that with Bonds, with the Bill Millers before he moved over to the Boston Red Sox and helped propel them to a World Series. Because don't forget, if it wasn't for Bill Miller, the Red Sox lose in 4 games to the Yankees, and we never have the same Red Sox team today. There's probably a what is it called? The swinging door or closing door moment with that time when Bill Miller hit no one had ever beaten Mariano Rivera until fucking Bill Miller did it. And that guy was a great Giant. He was a great Red Sox. That's the kind of player that I believe the Giants need to continue to find and kind of go back to the old school baseball, because with guys, everybody throws 99 miles an hour, and everyone's trying to beat 99 miles an hour by hitting the ball 107 out to center field. I don't think that's going to work for everybody. It works for the Dodgers. The Giants need to find another way to do it. And I think there's a different style of baseball that needs to come back around. The pendulum swings. And I'd love to see if Buster Posey can figure out how to kind of rekindle that fire and not say, "Hey, Willie, go out and hit me 30 home runs and hit 230." And
that's what Willie's going to do. That's who Willie is. He's been in this league long enough. That's how he plays. You're not going to change his stripes. I mean, I'm excited about Harrison Bader and Arise. I think those are going to be the way Harrison Bader plays defense. He's kind of a gamer. I love that guy. So I expect some nice things out of him. Hopefully, he's going to do well this year. He had kind of an off year last year. Hopefully he can put the ball more in play, get on base. He could be that kind of guy too. So we'll see. Here, now I want to switch topics just a little bit. Okay. Tony V. Well, how do we feel about this Tony V guy? I feel like it's a huge gamble. And I was watching Moneyball, and they had all the scouts sitting around the table, and they're all just saying, that guy's got a good-looking girlfriend. He's got a lot of confidence. That guy, he doesn't have such a good-looking girl. They're talking about all this stuff that meant nothing about winning and losing games, just like their swagger. And Billy Beane's just like, did they win the game? He was just going in a different direction. These guys are doing something else. We're counting cards. We're going to start a different way. And that's kind of the vibe I get a little bit when I think about this Tony V pick. Like, it's just so out of nowhere. It's like the first ever college baseball coach to play in baseball, which is, how's that possible? Is that really a stat? That's what I hear. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I just think it's a huge gamble, and if it pays off, he'll look like a genius, but I'm not so sure.
One game in.
We don't know now. Yeah, but it's like, do you think the philosophy of just trying something completely off the wall is a good idea? Or, do you think, 150 years of baseball tradition is maybe more the way to go?
I got thoughts, but I'm waiting. I mean,
go Z.
Dave. No, you're the resident Giants fan.
It's too young. It's too young in the season, and I think experimentation.
So your answer is I don't have an answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not definitive. It's one game. How can I?
I'm not saying off the one game. Like, let's go back to preseason. Pretend yesterday didn't happen.
The Giants had a great. Okay, the Giants had a great preseason. I think the vibe and the style is Giants in a nutshell. I think we're always going to be a little bit more of your your Cubs, your Brewers, your I'm trying to think of some other stylistic teams. Like, we always want to be a little off the cuff. We don't want to be as stringent and designer as the Dodgers and the Yankees have been. We need to be a little more raw. And so I think Tony V is a great fit in that conceptually. If he can deliver on it, I don't know. But I love the chance. I like taking the chance too. I didn't want to continue to kind of roll through this vibe of like, let's try and repeat. Let's try and find the next Bruce Bochy. Let's try and find the next Barry Bonds. Like, let's try and fill a shoe. It's gone. Like the Warriors have Kerr. We're not going to find another Kerr. We have to change and evolve that basketball team, which means a new version, a whole new concept. Just like Curry came in and changed the whole vision of what the Warriors can be. Giants,
buddy, I'm not ready to get rid of Kerr or Curry. I'm holding on for dear life.
That's fine. We can hold on. But we held on to Bruce Bochy, and then eventually we figured we got to move on. We got to try something new. But
and then he won a World Series, didn't he?
He did, because he was still great at what he did, but the Giants didn't have the other pieces in there. And ultimately, Bruce Bochy, I'm gonna say this, and I feel bad saying it, but I've said it before. Bruce Bochy was not a good regular season manager. He was okay. He was an amazing postseason manager, the best of all time. But if you look at his stats as a regular season manager and the moves he made, Giants were below average record with him as a manager, and for the Padres, he was mediocre in the long term of things. But as far as an all Hall of Famer and having deserved everything he deserves for being a great manager, 100% there. I'm just saying, one of the things I didn't like that take. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'll let Zach talk in a second. But one of the things that a manager does that's most important, especially like you said in the postseason, and I thought Bob Melvin did this for the A's very well, and Bruce Bochy was, like you said, a master at this, was the bullpen. How to, be the puppet master for that bullpen, just pulling the string right at the right time, knowing exactly when and how. And that's the only way you're really affecting the game other than the morale. So, I mean,
but you can do that very differently in the postseason. During a regular season,
the regular season too. The regular
very
season
different.
It's different, but you're trying to like figure out, you got 6 games in 7 days, and how do I manage the arms and everything? So it's a little bit different, right? But
yeah.
There's like a special touch that these managers have of managing the bullpen, and like that's kind of where games are won and lost. And I want to know if Tony V has that specific talent.
That is a good point. I don't know. Well, that part we'll find out. The bullpen for the Giants pitched exceptionally well against the Yankees in the grand scheme of things, but it's also one game. So I one game. The Giants looked great last year in the beginning of the season, and their bullpen was the best up until the All-Star break. And then they traded everybody away, and guys started to flail and fail. So, like,
and Randy went down, Randy Rodriguez.
You just don't know. I think, to your point, Joe, when you set up a bullpen, you need to have a very strong 1-2 anchor at the back end, and the Giants don't have that right now, and Tony V is not going to solve that.
Yeah, it's too early to tell.
Zach, I want to hear your thoughts. You're sitting there with a smug smirk, and I love it. I want to hear your thoughts. Come on.
You've given me 18 things for me to address that I had to sit back and wait on. Okay, the original question was about Tony V. I'll get to that in a second. What I want to start with, back when Joe, which I don't know why he's trolling me with an A's hat and a picture of a shirt of the Coliseum. I don't know. I think he's doing it just to mess with me, which is fine. We'll get to why he did that in a second, because I think he's said on your guys' airwaves that he's a Cubs fan. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. Imagine Joe, right? And all the time that you and I taking Bart to the games, going to all the Coliseum games, all those Game 5 losses, those wild card losses. Imagine us having a manager that won his 3 World Series, that you would sit there and go, he wasn't a good regular season manager. Imagine us saying that. We would have died. I would have given my right leg for one of them. Probably given an ankle for a second one. Then an elbow for a third one. You got 3. And you had the audacity to sit there and say, he wasn't a good regular season manager. Get the bleep out of here.
Why is that not okay to say? You've even pointed out that the luck they had, all these things that they were gifted, and this, that, and the other. You don't think that came along the way?
On top of that, he went to Texas and won a World Series for them for the first time ever. For all you guys. Don't you say a damn word about Bochy. I don't care if he's horrendous in the first week, the third week, whatever. 3 titles for you guys in San Francisco. 1 title when he took his ass to Texas.
So I'm never allowed to
bleep
criticize
outta here.
or critique a coach? I can't criticize or critique Steve Kerr?
No.
I mean, guys have.
That'd be like
I don't-
saying Jordan was bad in January. Jordan was bad in January. Who gives a bleep? He won 6 titles for the Bulls. Anyways, moving on to the original
Fair.
question from Joe.
Fine.
Here are the 2 things. I'll give you 2 things that I like and 2 things that I don't like. I don't like that he got into it with the media early on. I don't even remember when it was. I think it was even before spring training. And he said something about like whatever I said or whatever, like I'll never say anything. I mean, he just did something where maybe it was blown out of proportion or whatever. But then also in this other game, in this broadcast, he said specifically, it's not like college because like you don't get knocked out. It's not like an elimination game or whatever. It's 1 of 62, which I agree to all that, but stop referencing the college thing. Like stop bringing the attention to the fact that you are the first manager. Do you guys know this in the history of Major League Baseball?
Yes.
Do not have any experience. None. Nothing. I didn't know that. Anyways, but I don't like you need to not keep bringing attention to that, in my opinion. So I got an issue with the way that he's kind of handled it initially, but to kind of co-sign with Dave, I do like that it was a little bit different. I think Bob Melvin is an excellent coach. Joe, back when he was an A's fan, would say that Bob Melvin was an excellent coach. I think he does good with the day-to-day, as you would say, Dave, better than Bochy in the regular season or whatever. I think he does a good job. But like Artie would say, if he were to join us, and maybe other Giants fans would co-sign, there was a little bit of lack of like rallying up the troops. I mean, I've been on many basketball teams where our skill level was not the same as the team that we played, but because we played together more and because our coach got us fired up and shit, like we would win against teams that were more talented.
You need to know how to pull and push your players. And guys like Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker were really good at that. Bob Melvin was good, but maybe not now, and maybe not.
But I think, but I think Melvin was better equipped to do that with the Oakland A's teams than he was with the San Francisco Giants team.
Can I also just say, why was Bob Melvin supposed to win the World Series last year with the Giants? His Vegas said he was supposed to go like 79 and 81 before the season, something like basically 500. And then everybody's just like, oh, Bob Melvin is so terrible. He's so boring. I don't know. I thought he did fine for the team he had. Like the first half he managed with that bullpen, I thought he did really well. And I think it was just kind of got like soured. I think the Giants fans just got kind of bored. Like there just wasn't enough enthusiasm. There just wasn't enough rah. It just felt like another 500 season. We just did this 3 years in a row.
Is now
which entered Tony V.
Yep. I mean, listen, I think that's a big part of why he was brought in. And I think Bruce Bochy carried a level of grandfatherly, like, just appeal. And he kind of evoked this hum baby Roger Craig type vibe that's been working for MLB managers for a long time, and certainly worked for him because he won 3 World Series. And I don't want to take away, but Bobby Cox was the greatest regular season manager of all time, potentially, and got 1 ring. And we don't really remember him in a great light. Although I'd say his managerial, him and Bruce Bochy are probably, even if not, you could argue Bobby Cox was above him just because of how many games he won and how many titles they won.
He won something like 15 AL East pennants in a row.
Yeah, they had
a fourth of the
titles. Talent. They had a lot of
talent. And a fourth of the titles.
Yeah. So, like, baseball, once you get into the postseason, it's a game of luck. It's all about getting into that dance. And listen, Melvin didn't look like he was going to get us there. And I think we were just kind of soured on, like, this guy's boring. I want somebody else who makes me feel like I'm alive when I watch baseball. And so we're fickle fans more than ever in baseball now. So give me something exciting to watch. And I think that's why we got Tony. And I'm riding with Tony. I listen. There's nothing he can do poorly this season until the season is over, and then we'll evaluate him for that. Otherwise, I'm excited to see what variety he brings in.
I'm gonna remember that you said that there's nothing he can do poorly this season. But anyway, let's see.
All right. How about those
All
dubs?
right, I lightweight. I don't want to make it an abrupt end, but I lightweight got to roll.
You can heavyweight roll. That's fine.
Well, I mean, you called me out of relief. I got a lot of thoughts on like NBA basketball. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I could get into.
Well, I think we beat the crap out of the Giants in MLB already. So,
we still have to address your whole ensemble. So maybe I'll make another guest appearance and we can get to all that. But I kind of got to roll now.
Do it. It's
all
fine.
Right,
Z, thanks for attending the Hum Daddies. Appreciate your time and bringing your
go Cubs.
Your vibe, baby. You're good at what you do.
All right, Pimpin.
See you.
All right, Joe. We're gonna round this out with a quick take on dubs, and then I just want to give some quick highlights in the NCAA March Madness tournament to respond to Jake's stupidity on Tuesday night where he called me out. Let's keep going, though. NBA.
Okay.
Warriors. Here we are. We got 10 games left in the season. We're in 10th place. Are we watching for any real reason right now? Is Curry
gosh, man. It's brutal. Okay, the injury thing, man. Okay, let's just start with Moody. The Moody injury was just grotesque and also typical. That's what this year has been about. The whole 49er season and the whole Warrior season has just been
decimated.
Catastrophic injury after catastrophic injury. I'm so sick of it. Is this what sports is? Just watch who has fewer big time injuries. It's what it seems like these last few years, and I can't handle it anymore. It's just driving me nuts. So I mean, I suppose technically we're gonna get the 10th seed probably here. These Warriors.
We can lose every game the rest of the season and comfortably get the 10 seed.
Yeah, and Steph Curry technically could come back and we could win a playoff game. That is all possible.
We can easily, with Steph Curry and with the rest of the crew, even lacking Moody, if we have Steph Curry on the court, we can win 2 games, no doubt, against the Trailblazers and whomever else is in front of us.
So I'm like 2 minds. OKC. I'm of like 2 minds here. So I got one, I'm just like shell shocked from like big blow after big blow after big blow, and it's just like not really realistic that we're going to go anywhere. But at the same time, I watched these games. I watched this game against Brooklyn. I watched the game against the Mavericks, and we pulled them out. And this guy Guy Santos, my Guy looks great. I mean, where did we get this guy? Brazil. I mean, it was amazing. He looks like a legit two-way. He's playing both sides of the floor. He's shooting threes. He's pump faking. He's up and under. He's hustling. He's playing defense. I love this guy. He's amazing. Yeah. So we got that rolling. My guy Pods, he gets a lot of strays thrown at him, in my opinion. I thought he's been playing fairly well most of the time, but then he does like 2 like ridiculously dumb things a game.
Yeah, we focus on the stupid plays because when he does it, it's so far-fetched what he's going for that you're kind of like, how could you be in the NBA and think that play would work? But then he does a lot of great things outside of that, and you kind of just you forget because of the bad plays.
I just don't think like people are like, I don't understand how they miss all the things he does. He does a lot of positive things. Anyway, so what else? I'm really sad about the Moody thing. He was playing real. Melton's been playing very well. And then
Melton, best plus minus on the Warriors other than injured Jimmy Butler.
And the Zinger, big Zinger guy. Big Zinger guy. I didn't realize. I mean, he's like gigantically tall with a nice little shot. But I didn't realize how smart of a basketball player he is. He was doing this thing, driving the Brooklyn Nets guys, all these rookies. I can't name any of their players. All these guys nuts. He kept hooking them, and he got about like 7 foul calls, and they were going nuts. They didn't know how to stop it. And he was just getting to the line where he needed to. He's getting himself in a good position, and he's just kind of a winning basketball player. He won with Boston, and I didn't realize. I just thought he was kind of this tall, lanky guy that could shoot, but he looks kind of like a winner. I would like to keep him around. I know he's a free agent, so it's kind of up in the air if we'll have him next year. But I kind of look at this team. If we were all healthy, at least we could be like, a 3-4 seed kind of thing.
Yeah, I got an insider who's telling me that we might have a way to get his POTS or whatever his health could be long COVID. Whatever it is, if we can clean that up and get him at a cheap price because he hasn't figured it out yet, but get him to figure it out, I think Zinger, what is he, 32 right now? 31? He's still pretty young. And I know he's big and tall and, your knees wear down, but I think he's got 3 to 4 good seasons left. And I think you pair him with Curry and we see if we can get Curry back. We're just kind of doing a little load management. Curry comes back. We get a little fun tease OKC. Maybe we find a way to win those 2 play-in games, win 2 in OKC just to tell them we're not dead yet. We inspire the franchise to come back next year and say 1 more year, rally on 2 like we always do, last dance kind of style. And who knows, maybe LeBron comes over too. Maybe Draymond.
All right, this is too crazy, Dave. I gotta cut you off, man.
That's fair.
I was watching Draymond Green. I think my comment was, "This guy looks like the Tin Man that got caught in the rain." He looks so freaking old. He's just like so. Like he looks like he's a stiff. He can still kind of turn it on when he needs to, but he just looks so old. And his offensive game never great. It looks pathetic. He plays a nice little free safety and kind of manages the team pretty well. But gosh, he's like the 8th best player on a pretty wimpy team.
Yeah. So listen, we're coming down the stretch here. House money. Let's just enjoy the last few games of the season. Watch the players.
I'm enjoying my pods and my Zinger and my Melton and my Gee. Yeah, it's been fun.
It's the worst team we could play in a play-in game because the Trailblazers have owned us. But if we beat the Trailblazers and we come in and beat the Clippers, we might have kind of a weird magical blindness to what we might do in the postseason. So here we go.
I mean, if these guys can kind of pull some games together and win a few, and then you put on a Curry, that's going to give them a big boost. So
I just want to see Curry play 1 more game this season. I want to count him out yet, even though I think the Warriors are very reluctant to bring him back. All right, let's get over to the March Madness tournament because the Hum Daddies bracket is starting to get a little out there.
Out there.
Many out there.
I didn't see
a lot of people are leaving the opportunity to survive, but we still have 3 number 1 seeds left.
Arizona and Illinois won. Okay.
Illinois beat my
my
University of Houston, which hurts because I wanted my Final Four to be stacked, but I still have a shot. I still have Arizona. I still got my Michigan State Spartans, and hopefully Iowa State surprises some and rips off one against Michigan if they can see their way through Tennessee. But here's the part that really irked me. Jake Lucas likes to come in hot and heavy with all of his gambling advice and tips and all the great things he does. The guy picked Kansas and was out in the 2nd round. Meanwhile, he had the gall to call out me, saying now don't get me wrong, I embrace the coolerness that I have, but when I had brought up Duke as having an opportunity to lose in one of the earlier rounds, it was only because they were losing at the time, and I said Duke is in trouble, and he turned it into Duke's gonna lose. You created this whole thing,
right?
Gypsy doesn't know what he's talking about. The cooler cool the Dukies back into the winning. And listen, I picked Duke to win that game. So what the hell are you talking about? But here's the thing. Jake's sitting around last place with his wife Leachy and my wife too, Suzanne. And his bracket is so blown up. He's completely setting aside March Madness because he can't watch.
This is why he didn't show today?
He can't stand that the bracket is going to beat him. He can't stand it.
Let's go, Leachy. Does she have a chance to beat him?
I don't know, but here's the thing I thought would be fun is that instead of having the top 2 splitting it 30-70 or whatever the percentage was, and then the 3rd place guy getting their money back, let the last place bracket, whoever was the worst, gets their money back. Because at some point, it's more fun to be at the bottom rooting against everybody than it is to be at the top rooting for everybody. And so I'd love to see Jake have an opportunity to come back in and just be the anti-winner, because that would give me some hilarity in trying to find that guy a couple of bucks to make him feel like he won something.
Some strong feelings from the Jipper here tonight. Well, okay. Who's in first? Do you have the bracket in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me. Let me bring it up. I'm guessing I was in fourth when the round of 16 started. But I was first amongst the Arizona bracket, the Arizona winning bracket. So let's see here.
Arizona won tonight.
I am sixth right now in the 37. I think we have.
Nobody cares about you. Who's in first?
Right now, Ian Keogh is sitting atop with the 322 max, 222 points.
Who's his winner?
Baker, he's got Michigan. Corey Baker's got UConn. Britt Davalos has Duke. Daniel Etchison has Michigan. Kevin Summers has Michigan. So there's three of the top 5 have Michigan, and then Corey Baker has UConn. Now here's my play. I have Arizona number 1 overall in the tournament, and right now I'm atop every bracket in there that has Arizona. So if everything stands true today and Arizona wins, I win. So it's kind of an interesting scenario to look at these brackets, and bracketology is fun in that way. Is you can always come up with a way for you to win until you can't. And right now, I still have a pretty good shot if Arizona goes all the way. So there you go.
Well, you know what's terrible radio is talking about your own fantasy, is what I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there. And
hey, I'll give you. You got a parent corner situation. Daddy
I told
moment.
you on the Amtrak train. We won't talk about Amtrak tonight. I told Jake.
Oh, yeah, you know what? We can talk about our Sharks experience. We went to see the Sharks. We like the Sharks. We're not like Mr. and Mrs. Shark here, but we went to see the game. It was awesome. We might have made a mistake with the slushy situation. I had big regrets. Horrible idea.
Not regrets in picking the hockey stick portion.
The hockey stick's great.
The slushy inside was disgusting. But Joe, talk about going into the booth and the booth where we have the live music for both DJ and your buddy who plays the organ.
Kevin, the organist at the Sharks game. God, that was awesome. Yeah, so I'm a friend of a friend with the organist at the Sharks game, and we got invited down to go see what he's doing. We didn't get a request in time because he's got to learn the tune, but we did talk to the DJ, and our friend requested the song. What was the song exactly, Dave?
Folks who can remember Seinfeld and the scene where Kramer and Newman are making sausages in Jerry's apartment will remember the organ playing kind of vibes. I don't have the song name off the top of my head, but we'll make sure to play it in an episode coming up here, so I can my buddy Steve McDonnell is obsessed with the song. He plays it for all his New Jersey friends, and he could not believe the entire stadium was playing this jingle in the middle of the third period, the end of the second period. It was the best. Good to see you, Dom. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Go Giants.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. So I'm gonna get the Kevin guy. He wants to come on the pod. I might have to invite him on because he's like living my dream. He was like the backup at the Giants game for the Oregon, and they got him to start doing the Sharks game when the Sharks guy retired. But like, how awesome is that? You just go to the game, and then you're like good at music, and you just play when they're at a face-off, and dun 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 dun. All that fun stuff. Oh, what a life! I'm so jealous.
Totally.
Anyway, so we took the Amtrak down from. I think you took it in Berkeley. I took it in Oakland, and long way down, long way back. But it was kind of a not too hard. It's easy. nice light conversation, and then we come back.
Yeah, I think we
A
drank
couple days
3
later, I hear
beers
you
over an hour and a
had an
half.
issue. What happened? I left you and Jack London. What happened?
Well, long story short, because our train on the way back was delayed, they decided to rush every stop.
By the way, I don't think it was
I
delayed until we got to my spot. Was it? Was it delayed after? Huh.
Yeah, no, that was it. They were trying to catch up, so they were rushing through their stops. So they stopped in Berkeley, and I was watching NCAA on my phone.
Oh,
and all of a sudden I hear the doors are closing. You get off Berkeley right now. And I'm running over like, oh, I'll still make it. And I go to the stairs and 2 people are coming up the steps like they had just stepped into the train and they're carrying their luggage and cramming. You know, those aisles are super thin. And I had to wait for them to come up before I could race down. The door is literally closing as I try and grab hold of it. And I'm banging on the door thinking someone's going to see that a guy is trying to get off the train. And they don't. They just keep going. They take me all the way to the Richmond stop. And at the Richmond stop, they rub it in my face. The conductor says, please make sure that you get off the train when you're supposed to, or something like that. Which they were like,
Dave.
I saw you and didn't open it up. I was like, you. Now I got to go all the way back to Berkeley. So I had to take Bart and an Uber all the way back to my car. It was pretty miserable. I was not a happy camper because then I also had to drive an hour back to Napa. So it was a long trip home.
Brutal, man.
There you go. There's the story.
It was a long day. Not to mention I'm like the travel. I don't think I need to travel anymore. Just gonna stay at home.
I'm kind of over it. Yeah. Kind of want to just hang out here where it's beautiful. Hey, daddy talk real quick.
Yes.
I also mentioned this to you. Fun thing. Joe and I went to Aspen to go skiing. We're super glamorous, yada, yada, yada. On the trip, my wife had to explain why daddy was gone for so long. And she mentioned that I was with my friend Joe. And apparently Adrian, my daughter, thought, Joe? I like Joe. Who's Joe? So she was pointing at Joe, some of the photos, some of the things I was doing. And she's like, Joe, that's my Joe. My Joe. And so it's been my Joe ever since. It's converted to, we have our Hum Daddy, whatever they're called, our beer coasters. Coasters, and our coasters have a lot of Joe Montanas, and so she grabs her little Joes and she brings over my Joe. It's all about my Joe.
Big Joe fan. I love it.
Big Joe fan.
I mean, tickled. Me and Montana.
Yeah, you're synonymous in my daughter's eyes.
I should come with a Joe Montana jersey. That would really like blow her mind.
I think you should. And the next time you see her, you can be like, it's Joe. Like lean into it. She's like, that's my Joe. You're gonna be my Joe for a long time.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, what do I got? So, yeah, dude, I've just been doing lots of coaching, a lot of baseball. My little team, the Yankees, they're not doing too bad. We had a nice little squad. A couple guys in particular really looking good. But I was trying to get my son kind of into it, so I bought a baseball video game, The Show, MLB The Show. And it's really cool. You can build your own stadium. So we spent I thought I was going to teach him like, oh, this is like what a force out is, and this is like a walk, and then blah blah blah. Because he's kind of like more into the abstract.
Is this your way of like getting over the A's not building their stadium? Like, I'll show you how to build a stadium.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, so our stadium is like full of like dinosaurs and mountains and castles and spaceships, and so we play home run derby. We play home run derby. I'm usually Mark McGuire. Actually, it's not true. I'm too good, so I have to be Nico Horner, Cubs second baseman, and he's Baby Ruth, as he calls it, Babe Ruth, or Mark McGuire. He thinks those guys are pretty good. They're pretty good.
Baby Ruth is very Sandlot.
Yeah, because we watched Sandlot. That's why he calls him Baby Ruth. Yeah,
got it.
So yeah, no, we're hitting peak baseball right now, getting to the baseball movies, and playing the baseball little league, and it's just the weather's nice, and yeah, it's that time of year, man. It's a good time to be alive.
I'm looking forward. Once I have a son here, I hope he takes to sports, and specifically, I hope he loves baseball. I feel like baseball is one of those sports that you really vibe with your friends more than any other sport. I don't know why that is. I think it's all the time you have on the bench,
that's what it is.
Out, the cheers. It's this vibe, the momentum. I mean, I can recall so many times that we had comeback wins and times when we lost, we were on the other side of it. But those comeback wins, when you're rallying and you're cheering on the bench and you're screaming, you and your friends remember that more than anything else. And that is a huge part of growing up. And so I'm super excited for Hudson to have that opportunity. I hope he embraces it. I hope the cheers come back. And if you don't remember them,
I remember
ingrained
the cheers,
in me.
man. You know, like we sung the heck out of it when we were kids in Pinto.
Oh yeah, bring it back.
All right,
bring it to
maybe
the
I
Yanks.
will. Maybe I will. A little I don't know. SINGLE rally
single.
Pitchers in a hole. What do we got?
10 feet deep, can't get out because he got no heat.
Yeah, man.
We'll go on and on and on, baby.
Yeah,
we'll do a whole ep. Joe, good to see you, my friend. Good to have you back on the pod. We'll hopefully see everybody next week, including Jake Lucas.
All right, Jake, we missed you. See you next time.
RIP. Come out of remission soon. We love you. Go Giants. I hope game number 2 sits better, and I hope Adames proves me wrong.
All right, amigo.
Giddy up.
Home daddies.
See everybody.